Have you ever stopped to think, like, what really makes an AI assistant powerful? Not just, a chatbot that can talk back.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's more than just smart conversation, isn't it?
Exactly. That key thing, the real game changer,
Mm.
it seems to be its ability to actually connect out to your other stuff, your tools, your data.
Right, like hooking into your calendar or maybe digging into your company database, even checking your emails or using your CRM. That's where the power lies.
It's that jump from just understanding words to um, understand your whole business setup.
Precisely. And the tech that makes this possible and crucially makes it scalable for almost anyone is this open source standard called Model Context Protocol, MCP for short.
And MCP is exactly what we're diving deep into today. We want to walk you through everything you need to know, what it is, why it matters, and, how you can actually use it.
Yeah, the goal is really to show you how to take your AI from just talking to actually being a core part of your business systems.
Okay, so to really get why MCP is such a big deal, maybe let's think about what it was like before MCP.
Good idea. Imagine trying to manage a big international team where everyone speaks a totally different language. That's kind of what connecting AI to tools used to be like.
Right, so if your AI needed data from, say, Salesforce, it had to learn Salesforce speak,
Exactly. And then if it needed something from Google Analytics, okay, now it needs to learn that specific language too.
which meant custom coding for every single connection, like hiring a separate human translator for every single app.
Yeah. And you can see pretty quickly how that just doesn't scale, right? What if you add a new tool? Or you want to switch the AI model you're
You're
using?
back to square one. Rebuilding integrations. Just managing that web of connections sounds, frankly, exhausting.
It was a real efficiency killer. And this is precisely where MCP comes in. Think of it as the universal translator.
Ah, okay. So the AI doesn't need to learn 10 different tool languages anymore.
Nope. It just needs to learn one, the MCP language. And when tool providers, the Salesforces and Notions of the world adopt MCP, they all start speaking that same standard language.
Which gets rid of all that constant custom integration work on your end.
Exactly. And here's the really cool part for you, the user. Your AI apps become model agnostic.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
It means you can switch between AI models. Maybe you start with ChatGPT, then try Claude, or maybe some new AI comes along. You can swap them without having to rebuild all those connections to your tools.
Wow, okay, so you're not locked into one AI vendor just because you built integrations for it.
Precisely. It makes adopting AI much more flexible. And that's why MCP is becoming like really critical infrastructure. It's fundamentally changing what AI can do within a business.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's break down MCP itself. What are the main pieces we need to understand?
Okay, so fundamentally, there are two core components. First, you've got the MCP servers.
Servers. Okay, what are those?
Think of these as your actual business tools, the database, the CRM, the analytics platform. They're the ones providing the capabilities or the data.
Got it. The sources. And the second part.
That's the MCP clients. These are your AI applications. Claude, ChatGPT, maybe a custom system you've built. They're the ones using the tools or consuming the data.
And MCP is the bridge connecting them.
Exactly. It handles all that translation work. So when your AI client says, hey, CRM, give me last quarter sales figures, MCP makes sure the CRM understands the request and sends back the data in a way the AI understands. It's that communication layer.
Okay. And you mentioned servers. How do those actually run? Are they complicated to set up?
Well, you've got options, which is nice. There are remote servers, which are usually cloud-based. These tend to be easier, right? Often it's just pasting a link somewhere. They're managed by someone else.
Easier setup, less maintenance for me.
Mhm.
Okay, what's the other option?
Local servers. These run right on your own machine or, within your company's network.
Ah, so more control, maybe more security.
Exactly. Your data doesn't leave your environment. But yeah, it does usually require a bit more technical setup, so it's a trade-off between convenience and control, really.
Okay, that clarifies the basic structure. So now, how do we actually make that connection between the AI client and the MCP server? You said there are different ways.
Yeah, there are basically four main approaches, and choosing the right one depends on things like, how easy you want it to be, your security needs, how flexible you need the connection to be.
All right, let's walk through them. What's the first, maybe the easiest?
That would be native integration. This is usually built right into the big AI platforms like ChatGPT or Claude.
Ah, so the AI platform itself already has connections ready to go for certain tools.
Exactly. Things like Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive are common ones. It's definitely the simplest for non-technical folks. Zero setup, really, beyond just logging in and giving permission, and it's low risk because it's officially supported.
Okay, sounds great. Any downsides?
Well, sometimes the functionality can be a bit limited. For instance, ChatGPT's native connectors right now are mainly for what they call deep research,
Meaning?
meaning it's great at pulling information like summarizing emails or finding docs, but maybe not so much at doing things like sending an email or creating an event, at least not yet. It's mostly read-only for now.
Gotcha. Still useful, but limited scope. Okay, what's about the number 2?
Number 2 is using official MCP servers. This is what we generally recommend if native integration isn't available for the tool you need.
Official servers. So these are built by the tool companies themselves, like Notion or HubSpot.
Precisely. Major providers are building and maintaining their own MCP servers. You can usually find a list on the official MCP GitHub page. These can often be installed either locally or used remotely.
And the big advantage here is?
Reliability and security. Because they're built by the original company, you know they're likely to be more secure, better maintained, and kept up to date with the tool itself. It's the most trustworthy option after native integration.
Okay, makes sense. Official is usually better. What if there's no native or official server for a tool I use?
That brings us to option 3, community-built servers.
Community builds, so made by other users or developers.
Exactly. These can be great for niche tools or things that don't have official support yet, maybe something like Airtable. But, and this is important, you need to be cautious.
Right, cautious.
Well, because they're not maintained by the original company, the risk is higher. There could be potential security issues, maybe data leaks. You really need to check who built it and how well it's maintained. It's not necessarily bad, just requires more due diligence.
Right, proceed with caution. Okay, and the last method.
The fourth way is building custom MCP servers. This is definitely the advanced option.
For specific, maybe unique business needs, or connecting to internal proprietary systems.
Exactly that. Or if you need very specific functions that aren't covered elsewhere, this usually requires some development skills, maybe using Python or JavaScript SDKs.
Oh, okay. Sounds complex.
It can be, but there are also no-code platforms like N8N that can help you build these custom servers without writing actual code, which makes it a bit more accessible.
Interesting. So, quick recap. Native is easiest, official is recommended for reliability, community needs caution, and custom is for specific advanced needs.
You got it. And a key piece of advice, really a pro tip, always start with native if it does what you need. If not, look for an official server. Only go down the community or custom routes if you absolutely have to.
Think crucially.
Crucially, whatever you connect, always grant the absolute minimum permissions necessary. If the AI only needs to read data, don't give it permission to write or delete. Start with least privilege. Always.
Absolutely critical for security. Okay, let's make this more concrete. Can we walk through the idea of setting one of these up? Not a full tutorial, but the principle.
Sure. Let's take that native integration with ChatGPT first. It's designed to be simple. You'd typically go into your ChatGPT settings, find a section like connectors or integrations.
And you'd see things like Gmail, calendar there.
Yeah. You'd click the one you want, say Gmail. It'll likely prompt you to log in to your Google account and then ask you to approve certain permissions like allow ChatGPT to read your emails.
Okay, pretty standard permission stuff. And then what? Does Gmail show up like a plugin?
Not usually, no. Instead, when you use a specific function within ChatGPT, maybe one called Deep Research, you'll see an option to toggle on your connected Gmail account for that specific query.
Oh, so you enable it when you need it for a task.
Exactly. So you could then ask something like, can you find all the newsletters about AI I received in the last 6 months and summarize them? And ChatGPT would use that Gmail connection to do the research.
That's powerful. Turns it into a research assistant for your own info.
Definitely. Especially for companies with lots of internal documents or emails.
Okay, what about setting up an official server? You mentioned that might involve a bit more configuration, maybe with something like Claude Desktop.
Yeah. It's often a multi-step process, but logical. Let's use Notion as an example. First, you'd go into your Notion settings and create a new integration or service connection.
You tell Notion you want to connect something to it.
Right. You'd give it a name, configure what it can do again, minimum permissions, maybe only allow it to read specific pages or databases, not your whole Notion workspace.
Okay, lock it down.
Then Notion will generate a secret key, like an API token. You copy that token.
Got the key, now what?
Now you go to your AI client, say Claude Desktop. There's usually a developer or settings area where you can edit a configuration file. It sounds technical, but it's often just text.
And you paste the Notion token in there.
Pretty much. You'd find the section for MCP servers, paste in some configuration details provided by Notion's MCP server instructions, and replace a placeholder with your unique API token. Then save the file, maybe restart Claude.
And if you did it right,
Notion should appear as a tool Claude can now use directly. You could then ask Claude, draft a social media plan for the new product launch using the brand guidelines document in our Notion.
and it would access that specific Notion page and use the guidelines.
That's the idea. It seamlessly pulls your company's knowledge into the AI's workflow. It's incredibly useful for keeping things consistent.
I can see that. Okay, one more example. The custom route. Maybe using that NAN platform you mentioned. Let's say I want to connect to Google Analytics data.
Right, so NAN is a workflow automation tool. You'd start by creating a new workflow in NAN. The trigger for this workflow would be MCP server.
So the workflow starts when the AI asks for something via MCP.
Exactly. Then within the workflow, you'd add a node for Google Analytics.
Yeah.
You connect NAN to your Google Analytics account and configure exactly what data you want the AI to be able to access.
Like maybe website traffic from the last 30 days broken down by source.
Precisely. You set the parameters, date ranges, metrics, dimensions. Once you've built this workflow and activated it, the NAN MCP server node gives you a special URL, a production URL.
And that URL is what I give to the AI.
Yes. You'd go into your AI client, maybe the Claude web app this time, find the setting for add custom integration or similar, and paste that NAN URL in, save it.
And suddenly, my AI can talk to my specific Google Analytics setup via N8N.
Bingo! You could then ask your AI, generate a quick dashboard showing website traffic trends from Google Analytics for the past month, and Claude, through N8N, fetches that specific data and presents it.
Wow, that really opens things up. Connecting to almost anything with an API becomes possible.
It really does. It bridges the gap for tools without official support or for very custom data needs.
This is great. So with all these ways to connect, which AI platforms are actually, good at using MCP right now? Is the support widespread?
It's evolving quickly, but there are definitely leaders. Claude, I'd say, currently has the most comprehensive support.
How so?
It handles local and remote servers well. It can do both read and write operations in many cases, and they seem really focused on expanding custom integration support. It feels pretty baked into the experience.
Okay, Claude is strong. What about ChatGPT?
ChatGPT is definitely making progress. They have those native connectors for popular tools, which is great for ease of use. But as we mentioned, it's still often limited to that deep research read-only mode.
So more about getting info out than putting info in or taking action.
Generally, yes, for the native ones right now. However, they are rolling out support for custom MCP servers, especially on their paid plans like Pro and Teams. So that capability is growing.
Okay, good to know. And Gemini, Google's AI.
With Gemini, MCP support seems to be mainly available if you're using the Gemini API directly, like through their SDKs for developers.
So not really a simple click and connect thing on the main Gemini website or app yet.
Not typically, no. It requires more technical implementation at the moment.
Got it. Any others worth mentioning?
Yeah, you're seeing other platforms pop up too, tools like Windsurf, Cursor. They're also integrating MCP support. It's definitely becoming a feature that more and more platforms are recognizing as essential. The ecosystem is growing fast.
That's encouraging. Okay, we touched on this earlier, but let's really hammer it home. Security. When you're connecting your AI to all your sensitive business data, security has to be front and center, right?
Absolutely non-negotiable. It has to be priority number one.
So what are the key security best practices people absolutely must follow?
First, as we said, minimum necessary permissions. Always. Start there. Don't grant delete access if read is all that's needed. And don't just set it and forget it regularly. Review and audit the permissions you've granted.
Makes sense. What else?
Choose reliable sources. Strongly prioritize those official MCP servers from the tool vendors themselves over community builds whenever possible. They're just inherently more trustworthy and better maintained.
Okay, stick to official channels if you can.
Also, really understand the data access. Know exactly what data each connected tool or MCP server can see. Don't make assumptions. Read the documentation. And finally, regular maintenance. Keep any local MCP servers updated, patch them, and periodically check your integration settings everywhere.
Good hygiene, basically. Keep things clean and updated. Now, on the flip side, what are the common traps? The mistakes people make that we should actively avoid?
The biggest one, hands down, is over-granting permissions. It's so easy to just click allow all for convenience, but that's a huge risk. Be granular from the start.
Resist the urge to give it the keys to the kingdom.
Exactly. Another common mistake is ignoring official servers. People sometimes default to building a custom solution or using a community one out of habit. Even when a perfectly good, secure official server exists, always check for an official one first.
Don't reinvent the wheel if you don't have to, especially if the official wheel is safer.
Right. And then there's the issue of cramming too many tools onto one connection.
What do you mean?
Trying to connect, say, 7 different types of tools through a single custom MCP server setup. It sounds efficient, but it can actually confuse the AI.
That's so.
If you ask it to summarize recent activity, it might not know if you mean emails or CRM updates or project tasks because it has too many options linked through that one channel. It dilutes the AI's focus. We generally advise sticking to maybe 5 or fewer distinct tool times per server connection for clarity.
Interesting. So give the AI-focused access, not just a massive jumble of everything.
Precisely. And the last big mistake, skipping the documentation. Seriously. People run into problems because they miss one small configuration detail mentioned in the setup guide. Read it carefully. It can save you major headaches, especially security ones.
Okay, excellent advice. So we've covered the tech, the setup, the security. Let's talk impact. Where are we seeing MCP really make a difference in the real world? How are teams using this today?
Oh, the use cases are fantastic. Take marketing teams, for example.
Yeah, what are they doing?
Think about automated reporting. Instead of someone manually pulling data from Google Analytics, then HubSpot, then maybe Facebook ads, the AI can connect to all 3 via MCP. It automatically generates a consolidated weekly performance report, maybe even pulls out key insights, and emails a summary.
Wow, that saves a ton of manual work.
Huge amounts. It frees up marketers to actually analyze and strategize, not just compile numbers. Another big one is content creation. The AI can access brand guidelines stored in Notion or Google Drive.
So it can write stuff that's actually on brand.
Exactly. Generate content briefs, draft social media posts, write initial email copy, all adhering to the company's specific voice, style, and messaging guidelines because it can read them directly.
Okay, that's powerful for consistency. What about sales teams?
For sales, lead research becomes turbocharged. An AI connected to your CRM, like Salesforce and maybe LinkedIn via an MCP connection, can automatically gather info on prospects.
So it does the background check for the sales rep.
Yeah, it summarizes key info, identifies potential talking points, maybe even suggests personalized outreach angles based on the prospect's activity or company news. It makes outreach much more effective. And related to that is email automation.
Going beyond just mail merge.
Way beyond. Using data from the CRM, the AI can generate highly personalized outreach emails. Not just inserting a name, but referencing specific interactions, needs, or interests pulled directly from the customer record. It's personalization at scale.
I can see how that would improve response rates and customer support.
Huge potential there, too, mainly through quick information retrieval. Imagine an AI connected to your help desk system, like Zendesk, and your internal knowledge base.
So when an agent gets a query,
the AI instantly pulls up that customer's history, details about the products they use, and relevant troubleshooting articles or solutions from the knowledge base. All right there for the agent.
faster resolution, happier customers, more efficient agents.
Exactly. It provides the agent with instant context and answers, dramatically improving the support experience for everyone.
These examples really bring it to life. It's clear MCP is already enabling some amazing things. What's next? Where's this technology headed?
Oh, it's moving incredibly fast. We're seeing platform support just exploding, more AI clients adding MCP, more tool providers building official servers. It's becoming table stakes.
So broader adoption.
Definitely. And we're seeing enhanced functionality. Those read-only limitations we talked about, they're disappearing. Full read-write capabilities are becoming much more common, allowing AI to not just see data, but actively work with it across systems.
More action, less just observation.
Right. We're also expecting more advanced enterprise features, things focused on really robust security controls, compliance auditing, granular governance, stuff larger organizations absolutely need.
Makes sense for wider business adoption.
And just continued standardization. As more providers build official MCP servers, it creates a more reliable, secure, and interoperable ecosystem for everyone, reducing the reliance on those riskier community builds.
So wrapping this all up, it feels like MCP is really the key to unlocking that next level of AI capability in business.
It absolutely is. It's what transforms AI from being just a clever conversationalist into a truly integrated, intelligent partner that understands and interacts with your actual business processes and data.
So for listeners wanting to get started, what's the final takeaway, the advice?
Start simple. Play around with the native integrations first. See what they can do, get comfortable with the concept, see the value firsthand.
Dip your toes in the water.
Exactly. Then, as your needs grow, look towards those official servers. Only venture into custom solutions when you have a clear, specific need and understand the implications. And always, always put security first. Start small, prove the value, and then scale up carefully.
Sound advice. It really feels like the future of practical AI in business isn't just about the AI model itself, but about how well it connects to everything else.
That's the core of it. Integration is the intelligence multiplier, and MCP is the standard making that integration seamless and scalable.
So, maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. The question isn't if you should adopt MCP, but really, how quickly can you start using it to transform your AI from just a chatbot into a truly intelligent business partner?